Ooh, I love Ghostcharm.
What's up guys, it's me Ghost, your host as always, and I've kind of been waiting for an appropriate time to hop on here in between bigger uploads and just do a little bit of a channel update video. A candid, casual talk with all of you about how I feel the channel's been going of late, the current projects I am working on, and really the direction that I would love to take Ghostcharm in the immediate future. Now, I know that sounds kind of dramatic, but don't worry, nothing is wrong, man. Nothing is changing dramatically, and I have nothing but excitement to continue growing this channel and bringing you guys awesome content to watch and enjoy for years to come. But I also definitely want to make more of an effort to reach you guys, my audience, on a more personal level. I want to hear what you enjoy on my channel, what you might want to see more or less of, and also open up my intentions to you honestly, so you understand my approach to not only 2025, but beyond. So overall, I would say that this year, 2024, has been an amazing one for me on YouTube, man. I recently celebrated the 4th birthday of this channel, which is just insane. I can't believe how the time has flown. But this year, I really enjoyed all those Baldur's Gate videos, dude. Deeply enjoyed them, especially the John Irenicus villainpedia. And then of course, the kind of whale that was the Chosen 3 of Baldur's Gate 3. That shit was a ton of work, but well worth it to see how much all of you enjoyed those videos. And don't worry, we will get around to Raphael and other big bads from that game eventually, but don't expect those anytime soon. That's pretty crazy how much this channel has substantially grown since November of 2023, 1 year ago. And I gotta say, I love seeing the new faces popping in the Discord day by day, following me on Twitter, leaving a comment, an email, or in some way joining our little community. Even if you're totally silent, just know I appreciate you. I never get tired of your guys' overwhelming positivity, not only towards me and towards the videos, but honestly towards each other. I think over the years I've only seen like 5 or 6 really big arguments going down in my comment section with like multiple combatants, but I gotta be honest, I usually just kind of grab the popcorn and watch it unfold. It's pretty enjoyable. But it's funny, making these sorts of videos that are attempts anyway at comprehensive, somewhat exhaustive coverage of a specific character or game or whatever it is. It takes a lot of genuine time for me to play these games myself, sit with the information, the lore, the impressions I have, and then eventually, once I know exactly how I feel about a topic, start to make an hour or 2 hour long video on it. So it's always been difficult for me to make that type of content on current popular titles just like Baldur's Gate 3. As you know, the internet moves so fast, and trying to keep up, it's a fool's errand. I always try to avoid, if I can, uploading anything that won't remain at least somewhat evergreen. It kills me to this day that the Patches villainpedia doesn't include his most recent appearance in Elden Ring, which is like iconic and amazing. To be honest, I thought his run as a FromSoft character was over after Dark Souls 3, but I was wrong. What are you gonna do? You gotta live with the results. So that's all to say. Overall, I think moving forward, I will always prefer to stick to mostly older games, slightly older anyway, ones that have at least solidified their development, they're standing in the court of public opinion, and of course, they're standing in the court of my private opinion. Now, as far as the Villainpedia series, I know that this is very likely the content that brought you to my channel in the first place. All of you guys love the bad guy discussions, and listen, I love doing them. So I do want to address a few highly requested characters and then tell you some villains that I am currently thinking about covering soon. So, the elephant in the room for years on this channel has been Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. I am not exaggerating when I say there is at least 5 to 10, sometimes 15 to 20 comments per day across all the videos on my channel, practically begging for a Jack video. Now, believe me, I have played Borderlands 1 and 2. I also think Jack is an iconic, unique, and extremely effective video game antagonist, but my problem is, I'm gonna be honest, I just do not like Borderlands. I find it to be incredibly abrasive. The tone, the art style, the dialogue, the gameplay, it has just never been my cup of tea. However, I am going to be casually replaying Borderlands 2 at some point this winter to kind of reassess my opinion, and I think regardless, I will absolutely cover Jack someday. Simply because he is such an evil icon, I'm just going to be honest, it's not high up on my list. Now, the second most requested character, right behind Jack, it's close, is Gaunter O'Dim from The Witcher 3. Now, this is an excellent request, man. I hear you. And believe it or not, this is actually a video I have started like 3 or 4 times, but it just keeps getting shelved in favor of other things that I'm more passionate about in the moment. But do not worry, this is one that is certainly going to be made at some point. hopefully soon. Just an amazing, unique, and mysterious villain. He's got to get in the pedia. And the same exact words can be applied to the third most requested villain, Caesar of Fallout New Vegas. Now, you guys all know how much I love the Fallout games, and this is an obvious all-time classic. I just can't believe I haven't already done it. Personally, I've just not really been around Fallout much these days, but again, it is a matter of when, not if, believe me. But now I want to tell you some villains that I am passionate about right now as I am speaking that future episodes will definitely be featuring relatively soon. And the first is Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. The next is Kel'Thuzad from World of Warcraft, Gul'dan from World of Warcraft, and of course Gwyn from Dark Souls. Now, not necessarily in that order, but super into Warcraft lore all of a sudden recently, and I mean the Gwyn entry is long overdue. I mean, what is there to say about Kefka? He's like an insane jester. But remember, please, that I am a human being over here. I'm a creature of free will, so I can change my mind. I may get inspired by something else or be pulled in another direction, but those are definitely characters that have been getting the juices flowing. And there are, of course, also heroes, locations, items, and more morally complex characters I want to cover too. Here are a few hints splattered across your screen very quickly. But listen. Something I have learned about myself this year as a creator, and one of the biggest reasons I am making this update video right now, is that for me, too much of a good thing really can spoil it. The formulaic nature of these villain, hero, and Worldpedia videos, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's draining. Especially considering I do absolutely everything on this channel completely by myself. I mean, the gameplay footage, the writing, the editing, the video assembly, the thumbnail designs, everything. And looking back at 2024, I'm honestly a little bit surprised at just how much fulfillment and excitement I got out of making my videos that felt like the breaks from the pedia content. I mean, the obscure games video and part 2, and then the silent protagonist video, just so much fun to make, to write, and to share with you guys. Now don't worry, the core series of the pedia stuff will always be the bread and butter of this channel. That's never going to change, but I do think for my own sanity and to explore all the passion and love I have for video games and this method of storytelling while avoiding the dreaded YouTuber burnout, I definitely need to do more freeform content mixed in there as well. You know, things like the water in video games video, which I know you guys loved. More rambling opinion stuff, or just really any random shit that comes to my mind. Mixing it up a bit will also allow me to, hopefully anyway, upload more frequently. Now for the past year or two, I feel like I've been averaging about 1 video a month, which, I mean, is fine. I can pay the bills and keep this train rolling, but I would like to be more prolific and deliver maybe 2 videos a month, just here and there. So for full transparency, the next video to be uploaded right after this update, the one I'm working on right now, is Snow in video games. An exploration of wintry themed levels, music, and graphics across video game history. I think you guys are gonna love it. And then after that, we'll do a pedia video, maybe 2 or even 3, and then something else more random, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to those more flexible topics, let me know down below what you guys would like most to see. I know that also my game reviews have been very, very popular in the past, so maybe some of that too. Let me know. Now, on a personal level, I'm not sure how many of you guys keep up to date with the Discord server or the community tab here on YouTube, but a few months back in September, my girlfriend and I made a big life move, leaving the United States for another country for a year, maybe 2, maybe longer. Now, this has been a pretty massive life change for the both of us, and adjusting to our new situation has been, you know, a little bit of stress, but mostly it's just been a ton of fun. And you know, I'm a very private guy. I don't think many of you even know my real first name, and to be honest, I'd like to keep it that way, at least until the face reveal at 1 mil. But I just want to acknowledge that, of course, this is my job, but I do have a lot of other interests and things I'm passionate about, a lot of life outside of YouTube that does tend to pull me away at times. But that's all to say, I really deeply, from my heart, appreciate any little stretches of slow uploads or periods of quiet in the past, and how you guys have always stuck around and swarmed onto the next video like no time had passed at all. Like I said, I know that the internet moves really fast, so I consider myself extremely lucky that I have the sort of community that's always supportive and patient in wanting me to take breaks and do my thing. You guys are just the shit. I can't tell you how much I love you. So the last thing I'd love your opinion on is what I would call mega uploads. Now, I know many channels, some friends of mine on YouTube do this for various different reasons, like compiling several videos into one massive multi-hour epic-long upload for you guys to put on while you're working out, falling asleep, driving to work, whatever it is you do. Now, I've always thought, why would I bother when playlists achieve a very similar effect? But I got a very interesting email not so long ago that on mobile, if you're playing videos like mine as a type of background noise, one big upload can actually be preferable as far as the amount of ads that YouTube is going to stick in there versus playlists. Now, I also know for a fact that many of you out there see my videos and my voice as a reliable sleep aid, and believe me, I'm truly honored to throw you some Z's. But maybe you sleepy boys, sleepy gang would prefer the mega uploads as well. You know, think like all the Baldur's Gate villains we've done into one 5 to 6 hour thing titled 5 hours of Baldur's Gate 1 through 3 villain lore, you know, or season 1 of the villainpedia in one big ass video. Now personally, I don't mind doing this. I'm indifferent. It's not that much work for me, so let me know down below if that is something you would like to see. Now, the final thing I have learned on this channel this year is that you guys watching, you got a lot of questions about me and my opinion on things. So I thought, why don't we stick a short Q&A here at the end of the video to answer some of your most common inquiries so that hopefully you guys can cook up some new questions to spam me with. And the most common question by far is, Ghost, how did you get into video games / like what was my first video game? Well, when my older brother and I were very, very young, our dad got us into it actually by just playing video games himself. Mostly like Quake, Doom, Descent, stuff like that. And of course, I mean, we were kids. We eventually got Game Boys and played Pokemon Gen 1 and stuff. But the first game I ever played that absolutely had an impact on me and hooked me on the whole hobby was Myth: The Fallen Lords, developed by Bungie. A super dark, gritty, violent RTS medieval fantasy type thing that my brother and I were just obsessed with. It definitely informed games that we then loved in the future. It had this weird cryptic storytelling, it had really interesting world and lore with these like hand-drawn cutscenes, just incredible. Thank you, Dad, for getting us hooked so young. You had amazing taste, man. Now, strangely, the next question I see a lot is people asking where I am from and if I'm from Texas. So, no, I'm not from Texas. I was born and raised in Northern California along the coast, and that's all you get to know, you curious little buggers. Next up is, Ghost, what are your favorite RPGs, or like your essential RPGs, that kind of thing. Now, I feel like I mention it sometimes like offhanded as a gag almost in my videos, but my favorite video game of all time, not just RPG, is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1. I see that game as damn near perfect, and I think I ought to review it here on the channel someday, for sure. But other top tier RPGs for me are definitely all the FromSoft Souls games, especially Bloodborne and Demon Souls, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, Fable 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Divinity Original Sin 2, and a little bonus for people who always ask what my favorite Final Fantasy is, Final Fantasy VIII. Just love that game. I'm into a lot of RPGs though, man. Japanese and Western. I feel like I'm always adding new things to my list and falling in love with whatever I'm playing. Now, a question I always really appreciate is people wondering what my favorite villain in the Villainpedia series thus far is, and I'm gonna be honest, it's tough. I would say it's a pretty close tie between GLaDOS and then Dorman / Wander. Very different types of villainy in those games, very different types of games, but GLaDOS is just unmatched for me across the board in so many ways. The writing in Portal is just next level, dude. Valve used to be crazy with it. The humor, the tragic backstory, the setting, the tone of these games, I am a sucker for computer AI type villains, and this is the best one I have ever seen across any media. And then with Shadow of the Colossus, I mean, it is just the quintessential morally gray cryptic storytelling thing we've talked about so many times going on. You know, it's super inspirational to me. I love it as far as both writing and nuance. And in its own lane, as unique as it is, I think the duality of the Wander and Dorman thing is probably my favorite, though it's so tough to say. So tough to say. And now the final question for today is, Ghost, what do you look like? And pretty much look like this. So in short, everybody, being your host has never been better. But I definitely want you to expect just a tiny bit of variety sprinkled into the upload schedule moving forward into next year, and I just cannot wait to show you all what I have been cooking. Also, genuinely on a personal level, I hope all of you are doing all right. These are strange, angry times we live in around the world, and I know that especially as an American. So I encourage all of you to form a little circle together with me here where we can just be ourselves, be positive, and discuss our favorite pastime on equal ground, the wonderful world of video games. And I really hope that my channel, my videos, other channels, other videos are all good forms of escapism for you guys. Avoid the brain rot content at all costs though, and just take care of yourselves, man. You deserve it. Well, that is it from me. Expect an upload in the next week, maybe 2. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below on the things we've discussed here. And thanks for tuning in to this little update. I will see you guys very, very soon. Now, farewell. Bye-bye. Peace out.